Welcome all to this webinar of Quint Wellington Redwood. For the next 30 minutes, we are going to talk about DevOps. And who's we? Well, my name is Frederik Schuppen. I'm a senior consultant at Quint Wellington Redwood for the last 10 years. And joining me is my colleague Niels.
Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. My name's Niels Loader. I've been working in DevOps for the last couple of years and also a big Lean fan. Let's hope we have a good meeting this morning.
Yeah, we sure will. Thanks all for joining. If you've got any questions, like that, please put them in the chat box and we'll address them at the end, or if appropriate, right away. Well, Niels, let's start. We're talking about DevOps. So let's go to our first slide. I mean, we see a lot of customers who do some DevOps, or who think about DevOps, but also a lot of people who really haven't got a clue why they should be thinking about it.
Yeah, it's interesting because you see a lot of people jumping on the DevOps bandwagon without really knowing what it's all about. And really what we're trying to do is remove blockages in the delivery of value to the business. And I know we've been saying this for years with other standards and models, but DevOps, as far as I can see, has actually achieved this. We're actually putting together flows of value to customers. So we're actually delivering on the promise of higher quality, of quicker delivery, and more efficiency in the IT team that actually supports the business.
But Niels, probably we could be saying the same on a webinar, let's say about Agile, or maybe even Scrum. So what is this DevOps in relation to if you're already doing Agile? Because then already you got a quicker software development, more contact with business. So what does DevOps add to that occasion?
Well, you're absolutely right. But if you look at an Agile team, traditionally they will be looking at the development part of the cycle, and what the customers really need and what they use is what's in operations. So you need to make sure that both development and operations are working harmoniously to make sure that the whole flow from development through your test environments to the production environment is a single flow, delivering the value that the business wants.
Okay, so what you're saying basically is that the cooperation that we're looking for within development and operations together as one team is making sure that the value we create, either with development or running services in operations, has a one-piece flow to our customers, to our business. But if you say one-piece flow, I mean, then we're talking about Lean, right?
Yeah, obviously you're going to use Lean principles, Lean thinking to make sure your DevOps process works properly. But it's more than just about making sure you've got flow in your way of working. You need to balance that with the right organization, so putting the team together properly. You need to have a clear understanding within the team and with the customers what kind of performance you're looking for. And what's very important, what we've seen is that the automation of that IT work is a very, very important factor in getting the speed and quality moving.
Yeah.
Just one thing.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that once you get the team together, it's all about their behavior and attitude. How do they deal with this situation?
Okay, so I think we established that it's not just adding the operations guys to teams. No. That certainly isn't enough. But let's look in our perspective, because we've been working at this model that we're showing now. It's got 4 steps at a few customers. Yeah. What kind of steps do we need to take to get to this high-performing team with development and operations combined together?
Yeah, we've kind of given DevOps a bit of a slightly different name. We call it service-oriented IT, really because we're looking at a service, we're looking at a customer, we're looking at the link between customers, the service, and the team providing this service. So you really need to get that bit sorted out. That's kind of design phase. The next thing is that you need to look at the structure of your organization. Now, an individual team can work with an individual customer. That's not so much of a problem. But what happens when you end up with a platform of where there's maybe 5 or 6 teams working on a single platform? Then you need to make sure that your governance is sorted out. We then need to look really moving towards that integration. So it's, as you said earlier, it's not about just putting ops and dev in the same room and saying, okay, get working. It's about leadership, and leadership should think about how this integration will happen. And once you've got that sorted out, you really need to challenge the team to move to a high-performance format.
Yeah, it's good that you mentioned the support of top management, because I recall talking to one of the leading technical gurus in continuous delivery and continuous integration, and I asked him, why is the single key most important thing to get right when doing DevOps? And I was fully expecting some technical stuff coming out, and he said, well, Frederick, it's top management support, as always. As always.
As always.
You need it, because if you're going to do a DevOps team, then you're going to upset people. Absolutely. You're going to upset your service managers, you're going to upset your Q&A manager, you're going to upset lots and lots of
project
people
managers
as well. and all these people who are upset are going to complain. So you need to make sure that surrounding the team, the management, is prepared and willing to deal with that. So yeah, absolutely true. In the meantime, I'm seeing quite a lot of questions. Attendees asking, can we download the slides? Not yet, but afterwards we're going to send you all an email with all this stuff we're talking about. So don't worry, it's coming. Okay, so we've got 4 steps, right? If we look at the first step, we call it service-oriented IT. Now I know it's not a name we're proud of. We're still thinking of something better. But it's not about names, right? It's about the intention is what we're trying to do. So talk us through that. What should an organization, whether it be big or small, do when they take this first very important step?
Yeah, this is really about designing. This is about thinking about what you're doing. You really need to take the step and not just think, okay, well, let's throw some people together. Let it really think out how this is going to work. And how do we think this out? It's basically, it starts with a customer. It starts with understanding a customer and then understanding the IT services that this customer takes from us. And we then need to look at what is the IT service actually made of. This means understanding the full technology stack that needs to be supported by a team providing services to this customer.
And if you service, I mean, do we focus a DevOps team on a single service, on a single customer, a single product? I mean, how to choose in that?
Yeah, that's an interesting one, because just to take an example, you could say that DevOps teams provides the services that support the HR processes. So you've got an HR team, your human resources team, maybe 50 people in a large organization. They're using systems, they're using all kinds of tools, and you have a single team that can support that. And they may be supporting 3 or 4 applications. In other situations, it may be a single application that is supporting all the processes of a particular customer. And in other situations, you may even have, like if you're supporting SAP, you may have a team that's actually only supporting part of a huge ERP system for a customer. These are all the various the variations that you can get in this phase.
So by choosing the right customer with the right service, like you say in an HR example, we really setting the stage for giving the team, the future team, one goal. One vision is to be responsible to take responsibility for the health of that service and to completely focus on that. And on the other hand, we've got the technology stack they need to deliver those services. And there, in my opinion, we always, well, I do, strive to maximize autonomy for a team.
Yes.
Of course, you need to coordinate stuff in between, but you need to make sure that the team is working with technology and that they do not need 250 other colleagues to make a small change, because then you will never achieve the flow we're looking for.
In fact, that's one of the important things that we look at is what is the dependency of the team on other teams. And we try to, that's the integration process of slowly creating an environment in which the team becomes more and more autonomous. You won't achieve 100% autonomy. That's not the point, because otherwise you're creating a little mini IT organization, and then you're losing all kinds of economies of scale that you already have.
Yeah. And the good thing is that if you look at our third element here, if you look at the team members, we can go in detail about that now. And one of the examples I've heard about and experienced is that we've got an IT team and they're making changes to a service, but they also got some legal documents and text within that service, within the things the users are taking in. So they need somebody from legal in their DevOps team. And they did for 2 days in the week. A guy from legal within a DevOps team. So I do not think it's about developers and operations only. It's about all the people you need, all the skills, all the knowledge you need to deliver your service. Yeah. But then still you've got the question, how do you size a DevOps team? I mean, you've got to think about the skills, but how many people do you need?
Well, that's a very, very important question to answer, because there is a limit to the size of an effective team.
Yeah.
And what we're seeing is really that 10, 11, really the maximum I've ever seen that was effective was 12 people, but really they're more focusing on numbers around 7, 8, 9. That seems to be the optimum size of a DevOps team. But you really do need to look at what the demand is on that team. So you need to understand what the customer wants, and that's something that we've focused on very much in the last years within IT. But also take in what the IT team itself needs to do. And the interesting thing about this is when you carry out, when you put together a DevOps team, and you start getting closer to the customer actually understands a lot better that you have things that you need to do. You have operational activities that you've got to spend time on. You do internal changes that may not directly lead to functional improvements for the customer, but do lead to improvements in the performance of the whole service for the customer. And we've always thought as IT that the customer doesn't want to know this, but actually when you're talking about their service with them, they do want to know.
Okay. And if we're talking about teams, whether it be DevOps teams or agile teams, there's always one piece of the puzzle that everybody is struggling with. And we've got a question on that also right now. And that's, I mean, a lot of companies, IT organizations, they use external suppliers.
Yeah.
They have outsourced part of their development. And then we come in with saying, well, we're going to make a DevOps team. And we put people physically together. And how's that going to work?
Yeah, you see that in the various different formats. There's the classic case of outsourcing your back end, basically your basic infrastructure. This doesn't really have too much of an effect on the DevOps teams, except making sure that you've got an operations engineer who can actually talk to the supplier. To the other end of the spectrum, where we're seeing external providers, for instance, developers or testers, who are actually just being brought into the team and made part of the team. And these are the situations where customers are looking for a slightly longer term engagement with their suppliers. So they're not looking to change and swap very much, but they're looking to bring in expertise that they don't have themselves. So that's really the link, and you do see that the role of purchasing is very important in this way. That they need to really make sure they're creating contracts and relationships with suppliers who understand this way of working and who are prepared to join in, because it is a different way of working than just here's 10 testers, put them in a room and they'll test for you.
Yeah. So basically, if you go to DevOps route and you're setting up DevOps teams, don't expect your current way, the way you organize, the way you did your contracts with your suppliers, and the way you set up your whole organization. It's not set up to support DevOps. Yeah. So do expect to make changes on that, all the different elements surrounding the DevOps teams. So if you got the question, should everybody be doing DevOps? Then the answer is, of course, no, it's not necessary, but you do need from your colleagues that they understand what DevOps is all about, and maybe somebody, a contract manager, purchasing, need to change the way he does business.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's absolutely true. Yeah. All right. So, but then you've got one team, like in your HR example, but we also know a customer. They have and it's a very good presentation on YouTube. It's called a 24-man DevOps team.
Absolutely, that's a super.
And they've got a DevOps team, 24 people, but they self-organized within 3 or 4 sub-teams. Yeah. And we've got customers saying, well, we've got 150 agile/DevOps teams. How are you going to manage DevOps on such a scale? I mean, do we need something like a SAFe framework, or?
Well, what you need is to think about the governance that you need. I'm not saying you can choose SAFe if you want, but what I would strongly recommend is for the teams that are involved to sit down and think about it together. And we have an example with a customer where they have their business intelligence department. They have about 50 people in that department, and they ended up organizing these 50 people into 8 DevOps teams. No, sorry, 6 DevOps teams. One of them was responsible for the platform, and 5 of them were responsible for the customers. And they ended up designing a method whereby they were doing sprints for 3 weeks, and they had a planning cycle of 3 weeks on top of that. Now, we designed that together, and the interesting thing was that because of the way we were working, the whole, it was quite a heavy governance mechanism that we put on top, and we realized within about 3 sprints that we didn't need it. That because of the autonomy that the teams had, they were much more able to self-organize, and they only needed a little bit of guidance from a meeting of their team members in an architectural meeting and a backlog meeting. So it was a very interesting development, and we were very, very concerned about the governance that was necessary, and that we were building too much overhead. And it turned out not to be necessary, which was or partly necessary. It needed to be optimized for their situation.
It sounds like you've got the autonomy of the teams spot on. Because if you do, in my experience, then governance is not so much of an issue. No. But with all these potential issues and pieces of the puzzle you need to fix, in my experience, you need to look at the value stream. I mean, if you look at your release process, how does it function? Is it a single piece flow? Where are the bottlenecks? And then all the elements and the things you need to fix, whether it be by automation or by organization or by governance, they will fall into place. But you need to have that end-to-end perspective.
Well, exactly, and nobody is fully automated from day one. Often you'll start a DevOps team, and maybe you've got a little bit of automated testing. Maybe you've got a couple of bits of your pipeline linked together, but it won't be great. And you will have bottlenecks, and but you'll see that if you manage the team in the right way and you stimulate the team in the right way, they will broaden these bottlenecks themselves and see the need to spend time automating these bottlenecks for themselves. They'll feel that themselves.
Yeah, that's a good way, because Sometimes when you see organizations starting with DevOps, and they've got the vision, let's say we focus on a charge service or something, or we've got a team together, and the team does not get the assignment, go do DevOps. They say, well, it's another framework, we don't want it. But they get an assignment, make a single piece flow automated release process where you can deliver value on a daily or weekly basis.
Absolutely.
And that's what motivates a team. But maybe we can dive into the next slide. Because if you want to know what you need to do when you're starting with DevOps, and you probably started, somebody in your organization probably is trying or doing it already, then you need to know where you're coming from. Otherwise, you don't know what kind of interventions, whether it be technical, organizational, or cultural, you need to make. And then we at Quint, we have a model we developed for that at one of our customers, the DevOps integration model. Can you talk us through what we try to achieve with this?
Yeah, well, obviously, the end state that we're all looking for is this fabulously integrated, high-performing team that has a fabulous leadership facilitating the whole thing with very short processes and everything's going really fast.
Like 2,500 deployments an hour, right?
Absolutely. But the reality is that we start in a place where maybe we don't even measure stuff. We don't have clear steering mechanisms. We don't really, well, we think about the customer, but really, we get kind of nervous when we start thinking about it because we're worrying whether we're doing the right things. So this is a process where we're kind of taking an IT organization really from a very basic situation, very traditional with our technical silos, through step by step through to this high-performing team. And one of the first things is all about looking into getting a DevOps vision. It's all about making sure that the leadership can tell a story about where they want to go and how they see the IT organization working. And often this is one of the most difficult steps to take because it is also a leap of faith. It is saying, okay, we see that this can bring us benefits. Let's make the journey together. So we need to look at these 5 different aspects to make sure that we're balancing the development of the team. You can go hammer and tongs putting together an automated flow, but if you're not working on on understanding your performance measures, if you're not getting your organization sorted out properly, if the behavior and attitude of the people is not right, then you've got a problem. Talking about the behavior and attitude, just a little example, a little anecdote. I was talking with a manager of a DevOps team, and he said to me, yeah, DevOps, well, we're getting there, but we'll never really get there because our application developers don't really care about what's happening in production. And I said, I think that's your perception of the world and not theirs. Every developer wants to know how his or her application is being used in practice. They all want to know that. Maybe they don't want to be typing away in the production environment.
Maybe they don't want to have their phone ringing at 4 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday night.
Well, that's one of the fabulous developments in DevOps is that particularly developers start thinking very carefully about how they develop stuff and what they put into production because they don't want that.
Yeah.
And that brings benefits to everyone.
That's a famous quote from the DevOps community. That you're not doing DevOps when your developers do not wear pagers.
Exactly.
And you can see that DevOps is really old because they're talking about pagers. But, all right.
But it is important, and it does help to get the quality up. Yeah. Because people really think more deeply about what they're putting into production.
Okay. So what you're saying is, and it's our last slide for this webinar, that the key thing to get right is a strong team.
Absolutely.
If you do have a strong team, then they will start thinking about continuous integration, automated testing, continuous delivery. Yeah. And when you have a strong team, then they can handle the responsibility of continuous delivery. And yeah. they know what they're doing, and they won't screw up within production. and it will all work out.
Yeah.
That's basically the message, right?
Yeah, and you know, I fully understand if there are people out there saying, yeah, but I don't have a strong team. Well, you can create strong teams. Strong teams are things that you build. They're not things that happen overnight. They're not things that happen just by chance. They're entities that you build. You build them with having a vision and a goal of
Yep.
customers. This customer's services excellently. We need leadership from outside the team, but also from within the team. We need to focus on making sure that collaboration is the key thing. People shouldn't be sitting on islands. They should be brought into the team and together have accountability for for the service they provide. And obviously then we need to do practical things like measure our performance and ensure that there's flow throughout our process.
Yeah.
And that really leads to a high-performing team.
Yeah, and in my experience, if you do have that team, give them room. Make sure that they can innovate, that they can automate, and then take away all the bottlenecks that that's hindering them to put value into the hands of our customers. Okay, well, we are, I think, almost 30 minutes within this webinar, so it's time to wrap up. If you got any questions, this would be a good time, if you have not already done so, to put them in the question box of this webinar. Yeah, I'm looking at the questions now, Niels. Niels is pointing out the questions to me, and we talked about the outsourcing.
Yep.
You've got organizations using software factories. How do you do this DevOps? And well, we haven't hit on that on the webinar, but if you look at the technology stack supporting a service, then there is always somewhere in that stack, and maybe even more than once, a cutoff. When you say, well, we've got a DevOps team which is primarily focused on maybe just a presentation layer, and we're doing DevOps within the network and basic infrastructure, and they're developing a sort of a self-service for their more development-oriented DevOps teams. Not things like that. So it's a whole world to discover still, but we don't have time for that.
Well, there's actually, just to latch onto that, there's an interesting one, because the HR team that we were talking about earlier actually supported two systems. One was the PeopleSoft, and the other was SAP. And one, they did their own development, and the other one was only configuration. So you had two levels of system. One was really a software as a service level, and the other was where they took more an infrastructure as a service support.
Okay. In the meantime, we've got some questions coming in. And in the beginning, Niels and I talked about upsetting people when doing DevOps. And one of the people you're going to upset, there are project managers.
Yes.
So there's one question, and it's a good one. And it's saying, what is so different in this DevOps from project management and PMO? And you're always saying, Niels, and we've seen that at some of our customers, that projects are disappearing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. What you basically see is that a customer gets a team of people who do the work, and that's it. We don't go and say, well, you know, I want a project next to this this DevOps team. No, the DevOps team will actually carry out any project if it needs to be done. But because the DevOps team delivers so quickly, there's no real need for huge things. It's all about continually developing the service so that the customer always has what they need.
Yeah, and besides that, if you do DevOps teams, then you're not fighting for resources from a project standpoint.
No,
viewpoint. So that's going to disappear. So big difference. Maybe as the last question. I mean, if you look at Agile, then there is a manifesto, there are principles, right? Yeah. But there is also the process approach, and we've got Scrum. And Scrum is like a Bible. I mean, you've got all these rules you need to follow. And then you've got the safe framework, things like that, more rules. You need to do things with release trains, and you need to have a rhythm that's equal in all the teams. Is there such a thing for DevOps?
Well, not really. Well, there's the DevOps integration model, obviously, but what you see is that the DevOps community is so much in development that creating a set-in-stone framework hasn't happened yet. Will it happen? I think it probably will, but the community hasn't organized itself in such a way to do that yet. And I think that brings us a lot of benefits because everybody's working on different areas and providing little pieces of the puzzle that help us to move forward. So I would prefer DevOps to be based on a series of principles rather than a framework.
Yeah. I think that the main thing is to have a holistic view on it. So do not only focus on technical or automation side of DevOps, but also do not only focus on team or culture or leadership. You need it all to get it right.
Yeah.
Okay, well I think that's about it for this webinar. We don't have time for anything more. As I said earlier on, we are going to send the slides we used plus some other DevOps material we find interesting to you all. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us. You can find us on the web, you can call us, and we're more than happy to talk to you about our view on DevOps. DevOps, the community, we mentioned it a few times, very much in development, lots of innovation, but also lots of sharing. It's an open source kind of way of working. And we support that, we join that, so we'll be more than willingly to chat with you on the phone about questions you have on DevOps, and do not be surprised if we've got some questions as well that you might be able to answer. Well, that's it for us. Thank you all for joining. I hope you had a good 30 minutes. It was worth your time, and maybe we see or speak each other in the near future.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.